Councilmember Crosby.
Thank you. Councilmember Myers, can you please tell me, I'm looking at the information, I'm sorry, I just got this prior to the meeting. Can you please tell me the timing? You said the meeting was canceled by the chair of when you all were told that you had legal counsel and the memo that we received from Mr. Salee saying that you had legal counsel. What was the timing on that? Do you know?
I know the date that the meeting was canceled. It was Friday, June 4th at 4:11 p.m. But I don't know. I think the counsel that's now the Internal Audit Board's counsel was actually brought on to give counsel to the administration prior to him being switched over to the Audit Board. So I'm not sure the timelines on when those things happen.
Mr. Horn, I don't know. Can you answer that question?
I'm not sure I can without documentation. It seems like Mr. Sellers had written to advise Bruce Salee, I want to say May 21st, but I don't have it in front of me that the opinion that he wrote would have been about that time.
At that time, was he representing the Internal Audit Board or was he representing LPCG?
My recollection of it is because of the request for the document, and there's only one of those documents in the possession of the internal auditor. Because of the nature of that, the involvement of the Department of Law, Risk Management, etc., he was brought on to advise the government as to providing that document to you, the council members. At that time, there was no reason to believe there would be any type of conflict in him providing advice to the internal auditor. Since the creation of this committee, I think there is potential conflict between counsel and advice to the internal auditor, which is why the committee has hired their own outside counsel to advise that special investigation committee.
So on May 21st, he was representing all of LPCG and provided an opinion to the internal. I just want to make sure I'm very clear on what you're saying.
That is my understanding, that he provided an opinion for the government related to whether or not the council could see this confidential document.
And then if he was representing LPCG at that time, that would be the same document that was also given to the press, right? By the attorney, Mr. Sellers.
Which document?
His opinion.
That is my recollection, that his opinion was provided to the newspaper.
So if he was representing LPCG at that time, would he have gotten permission from the Department of Law to turn that over, or who would he have gone to?
Again, I don't know what happened there. My understanding is that Mr. Sellers said there was nothing confidential or privileged in the opinion, so there was no reason not to provide it to the newspaper.
I guess I'm just a little confused because later then when he states he's representing the Department of Internal Audit, everything has become privileged and confidential.
That may be a discussion you want to have with Mr. Sellers, because I have not been involved in what has transpired since then.
I have been trying for months to have my questions answered, so I'll stop there with that. But Mr. Myers or Mr. Lane, as members of the Internal Audit Board, do you know if the chair has ever asked Internal Audit staff not to attend their meetings, the Internal Audit Board meetings? Are you aware if the chair of the Internal Audit Committee has asked Internal Audit staff not to attend the meetings to make better use of their time?
generally the internal audit people who attend the meeting, but I think there was a meeting at one time where there was some work in process, and at some point they left the meeting and stayed there for the entire meeting.
Okay. And then I'm looking at the response we got. I just got this letter a little bit ago in response to Mr. Myers. Can somebody tell me who requested the Auditor of Public Accounts do an independent review?
I did.
You did? Okay. So Mr. Salee did not?
I'm sorry?
Did Mr. Salee?
I think Mr. Salee had some conversation with him as well, but I know I did.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else wish to speak to the question of whether or not to add that item to the docket for Thursday's meeting? And let me ask the clerk, are the folks who've indicated a desire to speak wishing to speak on the motion that's currently on the floor and give a council report? Because I'm not clear. All right, Councilmember Feigl.
One of the other comments is that we just got this information in the meeting just prior to this one, so I've not had time to look at it and really ask a lot of questions about it. And at this point, I'm very uncomfortable taking any kind of action. I think this kind of document makes a presumption of wrongdoing somewhere along the way, and our internal committee has not even begun discovery, and our investigative committee has not even begun discovery. And I just feel like this is very premature to cast aspersions on someone when we have no more information than what we have been given today, and certainly not time to ask questions about it. And in fact, I'm not sure that this is the appropriate venue to be doing that. I think that's what the investigative committee was set up for in the first place. So I'm really not comfortable. I came on this board. I volunteered to be on this investigative committee as to be totally objective. I haven't given to either candidate, and I was really hoping that we could keep politics out of this. So I just feel like that any reason or any rationale for asking an individual to step down because of an involvement with someone's campaign is premature. We don't know. I mean, unless we're going to ask everybody to step down from the investigative committee that are involved in a campaign. I was hoping we could keep politics out of this and try to get to the bottom of what is a very serious issue. I don't know Mr. Hisle at all, so I'm not trying to defend him, but I just feel like this is a pretty serious thing to do before we have discovered anything. So I can't, and I respect Councilmember Myers. I think he's done a phenomenal job with the committee to this point, but I'm not ready to make this move.